Every company is a media and entertainment company, whether you think you are or not.
The guy that's full-on artist, it's all about the craft, the this, the this, the this. They're awful at business.
You're responsible for the art that you bring to the world. You have to be.
I was always bigger than the artists that were working with me, so they were paying me for the music video and they were paying me for exposure to my audience.
How to write a children's book. My best advice on how to write a children's book. Follow your passion is actually horrible advice.
And the question was, if this were easy, what would it look like?
Like, how do you turn this into a business? It's hard.
Like, when you lay in bed at night, is it still going and going and going? Or... What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of the Free Game with Crack podcast. Today, I have John Mashni here. John, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Great to be here. Thank you for asking me. This is so fun.
We both love talking.
True fact. Yeah, true fact.
I remember the last time you were here, you were doing a branding shoot. And it was like, we both had to be, okay, I'm going to stop. Get the pictures done,
fun.
Right?
We were having too much fun. It was great.
Yeah. And what I was just saying before we started filming was, we're adults and we know that we need to be productive and useful with our time. We're busy men. We have families. So we have all these obligations and responsibilities. But we love to talk. We love to create content. And that's what I love about podcasts, because podcasts are that cheat code that allow us to have fun, but also be productive and useful, network, create content.
Yeah, all at once, right?
All at once.
Yeah, I love what you said. I'll just say, I think too, there's rare opportunities where you connect with someone who's like-minded and not just, hey, we have a common interest, but like we have similar thinking.
Thinking patterns.
Yes. And so when I think even when we talked on the phone the first time, I was just like, we hit it off. That's what I remember. And Rachel was like, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know. Just you go out, you just Rachel. Blank out. You're like, I don't know what just happened, but I love it. And I'm just excited to dig in and continue it kind of publicly here. So it's cool.
Absolutely. So the goal, as always, is to provide the audience with some free game.
Love it.
You've got a lot of knowledge up there. And then so I'm going to do my best to extract some gems.
Let's talk, man. It'll be fun.
So starting out, what do you do currently for a living?
So I'm a practicing lawyer, have my own law firm, Rendios Law, business tax and intellectual property.
Now break that down.
Yeah,
I know you know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm a transactional lawyer. Mainly I work with business owners and entrepreneurs. I'm generally like outside general counsel directing legal traffic. So business law is like contracts, buying and selling businesses, general things that pop up, forming entities, startups, right? Helping businesses get started, and then any type of issue that comes up along the way. And a lot of times, because of my experience, I think I've started 7 businesses, maybe it's more than that in my career. So I kind of have some experience with, what should I do? How do I do it? So that's the business side. You generally work with businesses. And when I was going to law school, I thought, hey, what area of law interests me? It was, who do I like spending time with? Right? Because
that's a good outlook.
Yeah. And if you want like a piece of advice, I tell people, it's like, hey, you might love criminal law as in law school because it's super interesting, but do you want to spend time with criminals or people accused of crimes? As a lawyer, I was like, it's very fascinating, but I like entrepreneurs. I like the energy. When you're around an entrepreneur, it's like they're pumped and they're going and they're doing something. So that's why I focus on business. And then I went to film school before law school. And so I really was interested in entertainment and intellectual property, right? Copyrights, trademarks, patents, everything related to that, media, right? Audio, video. So that's where I added intellectual property to my practice, where I got a lot of experience on the legal, also the business side of intellectual property, protecting your brand and assets and writing and content creation and all that kind of stuff. And then because I had a business background, someone said, hey, John, you can add $100 to your hourly rate if you know tax. And if you know tax and you have a personality, you're like basically the rarest person in the world, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I started digging in and took a bunch of tax classes in law school. I actually taught tax at a law school here in town. So I have that tax background too, which is really helpful when you're dealing with business, because what business owner wants to pay tax?
Shit, I don't.
Nobody does. Everybody. I'll tell you one common thing about people in business is eventually it's like, all you do is complain about taxes. That's what people do. You're like, oh man. So that's the legal background. And then I do work with startups, like I said, entertainment. Since I went to film school, I ended up working on some productions, be in production legal, working with some music, like doing some working with record labels, authors, musicians, television, worked a few projects in television. So have experience there. And then eventually started producing movies with a local group in town called CDI, Collective Development Incorporated. So you go on my IMDb page, you'll see a bunch of producer type, roles on there.
Side note, I love that flex and I want to be able to have that in the future.
Get IMDb page or what?
Yeah. Even if it's just like I'm a taxi driver 7 in a movie and I just happen to drive by, but it can be there.
Love it. We can put you in a movie. I mean, not that I make the choice, but
a small role, man.
No, I do have some acting credits too. I think I told you.
I know.
And part of the reason why I wanted some new headshots, right? That's why I came. And what happens is I work behind the scenes doing legal and production for this film company. Great people, by the way. And I think they just wanted to torture their lawyer. So they put me in these roles where they get to like one role, they killed me with a bowling ball to the face, right? So I get beat up pretty bad, bloody and stuff. But I get killed by Don Most from Happy Days.
Okay.
He throws a bowling ball to my face and just kills me. So it's like a 1920s kind of prohibition mobster movie. I play a purple gang member that gets that's a snitch. So then they take him out. So, but it's fun. And actually, there's a big movie coming out, AI Jesus. So basically,
like artificial intelligence Jesus.
Yeah. So it's called The Kingdom Chip, AI Jesus, and I play a pretty decent role in it. So I'm doing a ton of stuff. I write children's books too. I think you know that, but my love for writing and creativity. I went to film school and went to New York, had a great experience, but then came back and said, I'm just going to write because I just not the scene for me. And eventually I just wrote online, wrote nonfiction. And then a few years ago, I said, I'm going to take some of the stories that I told my kids and turn them into books. So I got a lot going on. It's crazy. That's the short version.
So, yeah. And that's the short version. What I love about that, what stood out to me was the fact, I think a lot of times in life, there are people that maybe go down one path, and then if it doesn't turn out how they wanted to, they feel like that's the end of the road. When you told me everything that you have going on, everything added to the next level for you. For example, okay, when you're going to film school, you probably didn't think, I'm going to make a living as a business attorney.
Yeah, no way. No way, yeah.
But it's like the film school carried over into this because there's that whole media entertainment background to, and then, with movies and acting, and then you learned about business, and then the business was like, okay, I'm creative and I love writing, and now I have kids. How can I combine kids with writing and creativity and my business knowledge? I'm going to write a children's book, and then I'm going to come out with that. I love it.
It came from storytelling. So like the creative side was, I always loved movies, and then I liked acting. And then what I figured out was I like telling stories. So when I'm writing the story, I felt empowered and I got excited and it energized me. And I feel like I've always been looking for outlets for that. Okay. And even as a lawyer, I like telling stories as a lawyer. One of my favorite things as a lawyer is counseling. And you talk to people or answer questions. I love answering live questions. Like a lot of people don't like that. I'm like, I would love to answer questions live. Like instead of giving a presentation, like, let's talk live. Let's talk about your stuff. Like, let's do it. I would look at your stuff and be like, dude, let's figure stuff out. But that's the genesis. And then when you look back, I was always trying to figure out, how do I tell stories doing what I'm doing?
Yeah. You know how you said we have so many things in common? Same. My first time trying to prepare, and so last time we talked, you gave me advice because I had my first workshop and I needed to do a presentation and I had never done one. I pulled it off and I did pretty well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But the first time I was ever going to do any type of like public speaking, I needed to make a presentation, and I knew I had all the knowledge up here, and I knew that I was good with, like, I know it's up here. And if somebody asks me a question, I know how I can like customize it and I can help you. But it was like, I didn't have the component in my brain required to make a slideshow. And so my first time doing it, I just went up there and I did all Q&A style. I just said,
awesome.
Real quick, let me introduce myself.
And it worked,
of who I am and what I've done. I've done this, and this. And, I have attended things where, people have a presentation or whatever. And my favorite part was always when I got to ask my question to you. so here's what we're going to do. My whole 45 minutes, just ask me questions. And then for a second, you know how like maybe sometimes people don't want to be the first person to like participate. I had this like, oh shit, what if no one asks a question? Because I was like, I'm going to ask questions. And I looked around the room for a second and I didn't see any hands. And then that idea came. I was like, oh shit, what if no one? And then it was like a hand went up and I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, you already. Then they asked the question and then I'm thinking, oh, I hope that this lasts 40. Then they asked the question, they asked, and then it actually did so well that I went over my time and then.
But you probably, what's beautiful about that is you probably gave them so much value because you answered the questions that they came with.
Yeah.
You don't, when you're doing a presentation, I just did a presentation a couple of weeks ago and it's actually a great topic. Every company is a media and entertainment company, by the way.
Yeah, we'll definitely break that down.
But when you do a presentation, you're trying to anticipate who the audience is and anticipate what they want to learn because you don't know what's useful to them. So you got to kind of make a couple assumptions, like what kind of event is it? Who's invited? Let's look at the list, right?
Yeah.
But when you ask, hey, what do you want to know? Then it just activates because now you can apply facts to the specific situation. Like, oh, I got experience with that. I've done this before. I think that's the best. I love that.
I see you with like the Mashni Live or something like that, where you just have a setup and you're live and then your audience, it's all live, it's all interactive. And it's just, you know, somebody might have a question on, hey man, I've seen that you've been in movies. What advice would you have for me trying to get into movies? And it's just boom, you go. And it just brings out gold for you. And then the next person might have a business question or something legal or, you know, I have questions about writing books and stuff, but I want to stay on what you just said.
Yeah.
You did a presentation recently on, you said every
company is a media and entertainment company, whether you think you are or not.
Well, and that's a hook, ladies and gentlemen.
That is my thesis right now for my life. Professionally, that is my thesis. And I've been saying that for about nearly 10 years. Okay. I read 2 books at the same time. And one is called, I'm blanking, The Big Picture or something, I think. But it was about when Sony got hacked. And so all these emails and all this information came out that was not previously public. And it was fascinating to see how Sony as a studio thought about actors and the business of movies and the business of art. Okay. It was so fascinating to me. At the same time, I read Gary Vaynerchuk's, his follow-up to Crush It. Was it Crushing It? Or whatever it was, the second one, right?
Was it Jab Jab Hook or?
It was Crushing It, I think, because Jab 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 Right Hook or whatever came out maybe after.
Okay.
And incidentally, a good friend of mine is listed in the credits as like a thank you, worked for Gary Vee. And so I always felt this connection to Gary Vee because my buddy was like worked for him very early VaynerMedia days.
Yeah.
And so I would be following Gary Vee closely and I read his book, the sequel. I read Crush It, but I think it was Crushing It.
Okay.
And then I read this book about the Sony hack. And what was fascinating was this. Gary Vee is basically telling like everybody that they can be content creators, right? And teaching them what to do and how to do it, right? But the Sony hack revealed that the whole model of Hollywood and the entertainment model was really falling apart because of streaming services and because it used to be where you put a famous actor in your movie and that movie would automatically, you get a return on your investment.
Okay.
Right? I know we're talking about a couple of things, right? There's an artistic side of movies and entertainment and everything else of artistic wise, but there's also a business side. So what I thought was fascinating, I've always thought this is fascinating, is the business side of entertainment and art. And Sony was identifying this problem that never came to light until they got hacked. But they were basically saying, we take the most famous actor, like a Tom Hanks. People don't go see a movie now because of Tom Hanks, because that's just not how people think because of streaming.
Okay.
So how do we make movies that are profitable? And what they figured out was we need these franchises. Spider-Man, like Sony controls Spider-Man rights. Look at Marvel. Disney started buying up. If you look at what happened with Disney, what did they do? They started buying up big brands. They bought Pixar. They bought Star Wars. They bought Marvel, right? Because those are the movies that are profitable and that create intellectual property that they can go and disperse and make money off of with all of their other assets, whether it's parks, whether it's toys, whether it's vacations, right? So that's how they started to think. But the problem was that actors with big names weren't drawing people in. But you know what was drawing people in?
What?
Actors with big social followings.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now things really shifted. Studios were starting to lose power. And so when I read these two books at about the same time, I kind of just figured this out. I didn't more realize, because it was happening whether I figured it out or not. But just everyday people now can act and think like Hollywood. There's no barrier. Like technology is not the barrier. It's just creative.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hollywood people are now saying, well, how do I get on this trend of being my own content creator and owning the distribution? I don't have to use the studio. And so actors then started to say, if you want me to promote the movie to my million followers, you got to give me a better deal.
Real quick, this episode is sponsored by Jerry's Automotive right here in Lansing, Michigan. If you're in the need of any type of regular vehicle maintenance or even major repairs, I highly recommend Jerry's Automotive. They're family owned and operated for 60 plus years, and they're just great people, and they know what they're doing there. So make sure if you need any auto repair, you go to Jerry's Automotive in Lansing, Michigan, and you can go to their website and book your next appointment at freegamewithcrack.com/Jerry's. That'll take you directly to Jerry's Automotive. Back to the episode.
You see what I mean? And it's like this convergence. Yeah. And so I started to realize, and a couple other things happened to me. And I think if someone, like for me personally, I studied intellectual property and the law, right? And branding and all that kind of stuff. But then I started to study, I worked on a lot of indie films originally, like independent films, right? Okay. So not affiliated with a studio, but then started working on some studio movies, like big studios, like everybody's heard of it, right? And I got to talk to their lawyers and I got to understand and see how they think. And it just blew my mind. They are purely just all business. They control their brands so closely, so well. They are on top of it. And what I figured out was, you don't have to be a media company to think and act like a media company and also treat your brand like a media company treats its brand. And that's where I started to say, I could teach regular everyday businesses how to think and act like a Disney, like a Warner Brothers, like a Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the same tools available from a legal toolkit. You can do the same stuff. Contracts, trademarks, copyrights, all that intellectual property and branding. You can do the same stuff. And that's when I started to say, I can teach businesses how to think this way, act this way, protect themselves legally, and including strategy, including legal. And that is what separates me. And that's what I try to differentiate myself. And the problem was I was always in environments where I couldn't do it the way I wanted to do it. Well, now with Rendios, I'm in charge. I'm making the calls. And for me, I love talking to people that are creative, that are artistic, but also are business people. Also they want to do it. And they don't just want to do art to do art. When I was in film school, there was a guy who we shot 16 millimeter actual film, 16 millimeter black and white film. And he would shoot the film and take the individual cells and color it with crayons, Crayola crayons. And this movie made no sense. You're just looking at it like...
Slow down. How?
Dude, it is.
What?
I know. It just made no sense. But you know what? He didn't care for the audience. He was doing it for himself.
Okay.
All art. And I say there's like a spectrum of like art and business. Mm-hmm. This guy was all art. You know, and Did
he suck at business?
Well, I have no idea. He didn't care. It's not even that he sucked. So he just didn't care.
Yeah.
But if you look at, I kind of think of it this way. There's this spectrum, like I was saying. There's art on one side and business on the other. All the way on the one side of art is this guy, right? Nice guy, but just did not care. One on the other side is all business. And I joke and I'm like, those people make porno. Like they just don't care, right? They just want to sell something, right? But what I love is the person that's like artistic and they're trying to move more on the continuum towards the business, but they're struggling. Yeah. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And that's what I love. Like, that's where I'm like, I will help that person. That's who I was 25 years ago.
Man, we have so much in common. Same. So with my background, 20 years, like music industry stuff, what I have learned is I actually hate working with the full-on artists. Because what I have found is on that same spectrum, the guy that's full on artist. It's all about the craft, the this, the this, the this. They're awful at business. And so that's like literally the definition of a starving artist.
Yep.
Then there's the person that's just all business, that's like trying to make sure they're getting every penny from every blah, blah, blah. And usually there's no talent there.
They don't care about the art, right?
They don't care about the art.
Nope.
And so these people, like the starving artists, they're the ones that when I give advice on like, here's why you're not making money off your music, or here's why blah, blah, blah. They're like, well, it's just not fair, that's not how it shouldn't be. They're complaining about things that they have no control of, that they're refusing to adapt to reality. And so I love, just like you said, the ones that are like not all the way there on the spectrum.
They want to be.
They want to
be.
They
don't know though,
trying.
because there is stuff to know.
Yes.
And a mindset that you got to bring to it. And there's stuff to know. What I don't like is when people are all business and then they don't care about the art. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's not me at all. That's just not me. I do care.
Yeah.
You are responsible for the stories that you tell. As an artist, I believe, and I actually wrote a whole article about this, you're responsible for the art that you bring to the world. You have to be. Because if you're not, if you just say, well, this is what I created, I don't care how it affects people, I have like a moral problem with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's certainly beautiful art that can affect people in a negative way. So I just think even as a moral thing for me personally, this is John personally.
Yeah.
I think we have a moral obligation, or at least I say I have a moral obligation. So when I create something that I'm at least thinking, how does it affect people?
Let's give a practical, like how you said, you like the Q&A or the interactive style. Yeah. Let's do it right now for somebody. What's like, all right, let's say somebody's a barber. How can a barber take being a barber and turn that into a media company?
So yeah, I love this question. So a barber, how does a barber think about content media? Or let's put the barber into my phrase, every company is a media and entertainment company.
Yep.
How is a barber a media and entertainment company?
Let's even say a barber shop.
Barbershop, yeah,
barbershop,
I love it.
Yep.
I'm going to give you an example first, and I think it'll become obvious. So when I say every company is a media and entertainment company, what I'm saying is this. You have a primary business, your business, whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay, it doesn't matter. There are other ancillary businesses that can be created related to your business, but that are not your main business. So you think of a car dealership. Car dealership they sell cars, right? But you got new cars, you got used cars. What else do you have? What do you think?
Financing department.
Okay, finance. So you can actually make money as the bank or as a lender, right? Because you loan money, right? You can make money that way. What else?
I don't know. Advertising, marketing, sales, service, repairs, maintenance.
Repairs. That's a separate business, right? Because you're not selling new cars, you're just repairing, right? Real estate, potentially. Most businesses, if you buy real estate, then it's like you have a business, right? You treat it like a business. You got a separate entity, right? So there's all these ancillary businesses. What I'm saying is this is a separate business related to your barbershop or any business, frankly. The best example, there's so many examples. So I'm going to give you a few and then let's talk about the barbershop. One of my favorite examples is, did you know there's a plumber on YouTube with 700,000 followers or subscribers?
I didn't know, but I believe it 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Google plumber and YouTube or search YouTube for plumber. And this guy has 700,000 subscribers. And don't you think that would lead to a good amount of money? From YouTube ads, notwithstanding anything else. Separate from being a plumber, this dude's got 700,000 subscribers. By the way, I love watching it. Well, how do you find it as a male? Oh, my toilet broke or whatever. I need to figure out how to fix this. Oh, just go on YouTube, search it up. And it's insane. He's entertaining. He's very good and educational. He built a special toilet that has like a clear back so he could show you the inside of the toilet while it's working.
Oh, yeah.
So now let's talk about, that's one example. Guys, as a plumber is making content, he's not doing any plumbing. He's teaching people how to solve their own plumbing problems. Okay? What's another one? There's so many examples. Restaurant, Shelby's Canada. These are my favorites. I'm actually addicted to this. Like, I follow them on everything. It's a shawarma shop, which I love shawarma, by the way. It's my favorite thing.
Side note, where's the best local shawarma?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna ask. You know, it's funny. On my podcast, we had like a 10-minute discussion of shawarma. And it's like
Okay,
me and my buddy Blake not argued, had a friendly discussion. So I like Sultan's downtown Lansing for shawarma, actual shawarma.
Okay.
Other places I think don't call it shawarma, or they call it shawarma, but it's not shawarma. Or maybe they don't call it shawarma because
What is your definition of shawarma?
dude, you got to cook it on the vertical, you know, spit or whatever. And it's got to be like chicken thigh, can't be chicken breast. And it's got to be, yeah, that's my definition. So with the right spices. And then
Okay.
you got to have, if it's in a sandwich, you got to have the right pickles. You got to have garlic sauce.
What type of pickles are the right pickles?
So those, whatever they are, Middle Eastern pickles, sometimes the pickled turnips, love the pickled turnips.
Okay.
Oh man. And then the garlic sauce, you got to have garlic sauce.
Yeah.
Man, that's making me hungry right now. Just thinking about that.
Same.
Shelby's Canada though. Shawarma shop in Canada. I don't even think they're in the US. But I don't even know how to describe it. They have this guy that talks with this accent. And he's like, I have to protect the culture. And he's like, looks for people who put ketchup on shawarma and like throws a shoe at them. And just, it's hilarious. But he's got video after video after video of people coming into Shelby's, getting shawarma, and he's just doing silly stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, frankly. So now let's talk about the barbershop. Could you create content in a barbershop?
Of course.
I mean, just think about if you just said, hey, I'll give you like $5 off your haircut if you just let me videotape the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Or think about this. What about, man, guys, I struggle sometimes. Hey, what's my best hairdo? How should I do this? Frankly, my kids make fun of me. They're like, Dad, your hair looks bad. Or they're like, Dad, how can you wear that shirt? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
What if you just said, hey, we're going to teach guys about hair products. I'm like, here's the best product. Here's this. Here's how I do haircuts. Here's the kind of look if you want professional. Here's if you want look casual. Here's the kind of look for this kind of like, here's our cool looks. I mean, here's how you do it. Like you could be teaching people about good haircuts for men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could, I mean, I don't know. I think there'd be a ton there. I've Googled because when I was trying to change my haircut 20 years ago, because my wife's like, you need a new haircut.
What was your haircut?
I don't know. I've had horrible haircuts.
Did you ever have long hair?
Middle part where it goes down like this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, my wife still makes fun of that. And actually got a sixth grade picture that people still make fun of. It's live on my Instagram, but it's like, it's only there because it just brings much enjoyment to my wife to be like, John, show people your sixth grade picture. Yeah. And then I say, well, you liked me when I was in sixth grade. So I don't know what this says, but it's pretty funny, dude.
Yeah.
So as a barbershop, I think you just think a little bit outside the box. Like, do you have any skill set that you could teach people? Like I would probably watch that if someone was like, hey, show me how to get my hair to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Heck, you could even sell other stuff. Here's our affiliate link to this pomade that we like, or this gel, or this, right? Like you could be talking about stuff. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you got manufacturers of hair products and everything else wanting to be affiliated with your channel because you're doing honest reviews or whatever. That's just one idea. And then there's another idea of, hey, could we just have a conversation, record it? Like have a fun conversation or tell funny stories? I don't know. I'm just giving ideas. I don't have a barbershop.
Yeah. There's a specific thing that I promote. And then this is like me practicing what I've preached for my career is it's called a content flywheel, which is very similar to like, it would be a framework inside of the book of every business is a media company, right? And then one of the frameworks is the content flywheel. So basically what it is, and this is what I did. When, say music video specifically, I would shoot a music video. So this is the thing that I already do. So every business does a thing, right? So one of the things I did was I shot music videos. Every time I shot a music video, I would take a percentage of the budget and pay somebody else to come help document my process.
Yes, amazing.
And so now I'm bringing people along like, here's what it's like behind the scenes of shooting a music video.
Here's what it's like to work with me before you work with me.
You just like try before you buy.
I love it.
And so now I'm doing that. And then I realized that I was bringing more value to the artists as well, because it got to where I was always bigger than the artists that were working with me. So they were paying me for the music video and they were paying me for exposure to my audience, because I was always, part of the thing was, I want to be featured on your YouTube channel. I want to be in content with you. I want you to tag me. I want you to post me. I want you to promote me. So they were getting exposure to the platform that I had built. But then I'm giving advice and tips and game on, because then people would ask, what camera do you use? What lens? What blah, blah, blah. So then now I started selling a course teaching other people how to shoot music videos. So every time I shot a music video, I made content from it. The content went back into like my funnel of people discovering me, wanting to shoot a music video with me. They shoot a music video with me. Then I make content out of it. And then it just kept going and over and over again. But yeah, that's the content flywheel. And that's the big vision for Crack House Studios is I did that as an individual for my whole career. And now I want all of my team for every department. So the same thing for podcasting. I can't say that I believe everyone should have a podcast and not have a podcast. So I have a podcast. We're doing it right now. Eventually, I want every service that we offer to have like three different things. Just say things for that's like the easy, dumb thing to say. Three different things to go with it. Okay, so when it comes to podcasts, it would be option one, come to Lansing, Michigan, and just sit down and we'll fully produce your podcast. That's option one. But what about everyone else from all over the world?
Yeah.
Well, then that option would be, I want to have a course to teach people, if you're thinking about or you're interested in starting a podcast or going a podcast, if you buy this course that I sit down and I make one time, now I'm teaching what I know, because side note, a thing I believe is everyone should be paid for what you do, what you know, and what you've done. So what you do is, okay, we do podcast here. Come here and get the thing that we do. You can get this in Lansing, Michigan. Things that I've done, I'm going to sit down and teach the camera everything about setting up equipment, lighting, filming, editing, posting, distribution, etc.
For sure. Yeah.
I do it once and it kills two birds with one stone, because now I have the internal SOPs and documentation so I can expand and hire and train people to grow the studio.
Yeah, I love it.
And at the same time, I can say, and PS, these are the same exact SOPs that I use to train my team at the #1 highest rated creative studio in Michigan. So I sell that. And then the other outcome is now I just taught them how to record and do it themselves. And some people, because I think most people in the future will want to have their own personal setup eventually, where they have, their posters on the wall or their own light or their own different things. And so, but where majority of the work comes in is all of the post-production and the distribution. So then I want us to also offer that. So now, yes, some people will come here to Lansing, but most people will record in California, other countries or whatever. But if I can be the guy that teaches them what to do, well, then if I say, and if you need help with any of the editing or the distribution or blah, 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 Crack House Studios, we offer that here. So then they can be a customer there. So it's like the in-person services, the online remote services, and then also the DIY, do-it-yourself.
And you just massively expand your customer base or client base, right? You're not just Michigan or Lansing, Michigan.
All right, so you see and hear this quality. This is just one example of the many different services that we specialize in here at Crack House Studios. Whether you're a brand or business or an artist or creative, we offer services to help you grow. Everything from professional video content, audio, social media, marketing, coaching, or even if you're just looking for a place to create, we got you covered. 20 plus years in the game, we are the highest rated studio in the state of Michigan. Artists travel across the entire country specifically to work with us here in Lansing, Michigan at Crack House Studios. If you're interested in any of our services, head over to crackhousestudios.com.
You're anywhere, right? And plus, you're going to get a lot of people who they watch and they're going to say like, oh, how do I want to do that? Or like ask me questions. Like, I never intended to teach people how to write children's books. You know how many questions I get people once or twice a month? How do I write children's books? I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I created a free e-course.
Did you?
How to write a children's book. My best advice on how to write a children's book. I just create an email course. You can go on johnmashni.com/free-stuff. It's right there.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that you did free-stuff.
Got a bunch of free stuff on there.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your first exposure to the world of free things or lead magnets, or you remember how long ago?
Oh, 10 years ago at least.
At least, what maybe the first more. Thing was?
Maybe longer. I started a business. My grandfather played the oud.
What's that?
It's like a Middle Eastern instrument. It looks like a pear cut in half. 12-stringed guitar.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a lute almost.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called a OUD.
Okay.
So my grandfather was kind of a master at it. And so he'd passed away 20 some years ago now, 26 years ago, I think. But he left these like instructional videos. It was on VHS at the time in this book, How to Play the Oud, and like instructional book. So
dang, 26 years ago?
Yeah. So
Crazy.
it was on VHS, dude.
Super ahead of his time.
So I took the videos and updated all the graphics, put it on a DVD, and then I updated the workbook because it was handwritten stuff. So I updated the workbook and I started selling them online. I didn't sell very. I mean, I sold some for a little bit and then it just tapered off. And then actually the site got hacked, and so I was like, that's why I don't use Bluehost anymore. But that's a totally different story. But
shots fired.
Yeah, sorry, Bluehost. But that's how I kind of learned about, online business. And then I took a bunch of different classes and courses, learned about lead magnets and, offering something of value in exchange for an email, and then offering value to people either for free or very low cost, and then giving value over time, right? To keep people interested in what you're doing. And then I always wanted to write a nonfiction book, and I was writing a book about reinventing yourself. And what happened was I thought, I'm going to have this book in 5 or 10 years. I should start an email list now. So then I started in 15, maybe 16. I started writing articles on medium.com and collecting emails with this lead magnet, a couple of different lead magnets, or just PDFs that I'd give away in exchange for an email. And that's when I built a pretty big email list and had some popularity writing online. So that was my exposure to it, and that's how I kind of implemented.
Do you have an off switch?
I don't know, man. I was trying to learn the business side. I think I was creative, but I was really trying to move over, like we talked about. Like, how do you turn this into a business? It's hard.
Like when you lay in bed at night, is it still going and going and going? Or?
I'm very curious. I love learning about stuff.
Me too.
And it's a problem for sure, but it's a gift. It's like a problem and a gift.
Yeah.
Because you can get distracted very easily. And I've been learning about myself. How do you figure out what are you supposed to do, right? When you're very curious about a lot of stuff. What I would say though is I kind of follow a few things. One, I have responsibilities. I got to take care of my family. I got 4 kids, an amazing wife. So you got to take care of them, but you also got to figure out where you're skilled and where you offer value to people too. Mm-hmm. So if you're just artistic, one of the greatest things I learned, I'll tell you this. One of the books I recommend more than any other book, I see you got Deep Work by Cal Newport over there. Mm-hmm. Cal Newport wrote another book called So Good They Can't Ignore You. Did you ever read that?
No.
Oh man, you'd love it. You'd love it.
Okay.
And it's a book I give to anyone that I know that's graduating, like high school or college. I give them that book. I say, you got to read this book. It'll save you years of your life. And the whole book is premised on follow your bliss or follow your passion is actually horrible advice. And when I heard that, I thought, this guy's an idiot. Forget it. He's wrong. But I was like, what? Someone told me to read this book, and so I'm gonna read it. And I started reading this book, and I thought, oh, that's my life. Oh, that happened to me exactly. Oh, dang it, he's right. Oh, shoot, dang. And I read it, and by the time I read it, I'm like, this was my life exactly. I mean, like he could have used me as a case study.
Yeah.
And the reason I mention it is because it's like, does my brain turn off? It's more, I had to figure out what my useful skill was. And then that's when it's like, if you're good at something, you just want to do it over and over because you're offering value to people. People are paying you for it. You're valuable, not to yourself, but to other people.
For sure.
And that's where, a lot of artists get caught up in, it's my art. I have to do it for me. And like moving to the business side, a big part of that is figuring out, yeah, but how does the art affect someone else? Like you start to think outside of your own head, outside of your own mind, and start to say, I'm being selfish over on one side, not in a bad way, just I'm being selfish because I'm focused on me with the art. What do I want?
Yeah.
But when I go to the business side, I have to say, what does somebody else want? What blesses them? What entertains them? What energizes them? What inspires them? And that's where I think you get a lot of growth as an entrepreneur who's also an artist, is you move to say what interests me to what offers value to somebody else.
Yeah. What about like when you're on vacation? Let's say for spring break, your family's going to go on vacation.
Man.
Let's say day one of vacation. Is John present at the beach right now? Or is it, hey, you're in your head? What are you thinking about? Right?
Yeah, I try to do both. And my wife and kids would basically say, like, I work a lot, but I try to be present, when I can.
I mean, I also try.
It's a struggle for sure.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, it was hard just with my model as a lawyer.
Okay.
Like, people are always asking for help and need help, and clients, and I love helping them. But it is a matter now of I'm trying to block and tackle. That's why I did hire someone that we talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that next. Yes.
That's someone that can take things off my plate, and that's been beautiful. And that's where I'm going now is what can I delegate? What can I build? And then put people in positions where they're doing what they're good at. They're doing their valuable skill, but then I'm doing my valuable skill, and we're not competing. We're working together.
Give me some advice right now. I'm that guy that this needs to get done, and guess whose name is on it? That's me. And then this needs to get done, and guess whose name is on it?
We got the same problem, man.
Okay,
yeah,
so right now I got too many things on my plate I need to delegate. How did you know the first person I need right now? Because let's say, hypothetically, I need 15 people over the next 12 months, right?
Man, what a great, okay. I'm working on this too. I'll just tell you my current thinking. I'll share my current thinking.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I've tried, you hire a virtual assistant. They say, hire a virtual assistant.
That's what everyone says. And then I feel like I think I need someone in person. I'll let you go.
No, but you know exactly what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
You hear that advice a lot. And just to make a little tangent on advice, what I learned about advice is if advice isn't tailored to me specifically, like a lot of people give advice. I've written tons of articles giving people advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote a whole article about prescription before diagnosis, meaning you go to a doctor and the doctor walks in and says, I'm prescribing this drug. And you're like, well,
you have no context.
We didn't even talk yet. Like, how do you even know what's wrong with me? It's like, doesn't matter. A lot of people do that with advice, right?
Yeah.
Especially when people go looking for advice. They're like, oh, I found this online. I found this. I found that. What I think the best advice in my life is where someone sits and asks me questions. It might be 30 questions, might be 2 questions, doesn't matter. Whatever it takes for them to make a diagnosis in their mind, then they prescribe something to me. Then they give advice. That's what I try to do as a lawyer. I can't tell people the same legal advice. That's not customized. That's not given legal advice. That's given just, I would say, a platitude or giving a principle.
Yeah.
When you want specific stuff for you, you need someone that does the diagnosis, that digs in. So what I listened to initially was just get an assistant, just get a virtual assistant, just get somebody, right? And I tried that multiple times, and it didn't relieve the tension or the stress. And so what I learned about myself is what I really needed was a couple things. One, I didn't even know the skills that I needed to delegate. I didn't have a process to delegate. If I have a process that I could hand someone and take the time to train them, that's where the virtual assistant might make a lot more sense.
Okay.
But I needed someone that I could say, here's what I need to do. Here's my idea. Help me turn this into a process.
Yeah.
Help me create this process, right? Because that actually takes stuff off my plate. If I have to create the process and teach someone how to do the process and teach someone just how to be, I don't know, a normal person in business.
And manage them.
And manage, like management is something that takes time. You can't be like, I'm going to work in the business 40, 50 hours a week, plus manage 20 people. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You'll fail at one or all those things. And so I think one is just having that realization I needed a project manager. That's why I call Rachel project manager.
Okay.
It was like, because like that's her role. The other thing I learned is really having an operating system. And this is where we were talking earlier about something like EOS. There's lots of different operating systems out there, but understanding having an operating system for the business where there's accountability and you have roles and you understand like you're building not an org chart, but an accountability chart. I think that's brilliant from EOS and Gino Wickman. That really helped me and being able to focus. Right now, I have so many things I want to do.
Yeah.
The answer is not add people. When I look back at my career, I think the businesses that I wouldn't say they didn't do well. They weren't innovative. They weren't growth minded because they thought I'll solve a problem with people. I'll just add a person. We'll just hire somebody. But that doesn't always work. You got to get your stuff together and then hire someone to fill the role.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that help? That's how I'm thinking right now.
Real quick, if you didn't know, I offer a very limited amount of one-on-one calls. Whether you're feeling stuck or you just want personal help, go to crackhousestudios.com/call. Talk to you soon. Back to the video.
Yes. Okay. So the reason why we haven't launched our podcast stuff yet, so like even the branding shoot you did or the episode, that was like, Sneaky John, you found it on there.
I did.
Yeah.
I was tracking you guys. I was like, these guys, this looks cool.
Yeah. So we haven't launched because originally what I tried to do, I love everything that you just said. There's so much free game there, specifically for me. So one of the books on that shelf is written by, I forget the guy it was written by, but I know it was like narrated or co-authored by Dr. Benjamin Hardy.
Ben Hardy,
yeah. He's great. But the book is called Who Not How. And it was just saying.
Yeah, Dan Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah, Dan Sullivan. Okay. So summarizing that book is, we're entrepreneurs. We've taught ourselves how to do this, how to do that. Oh, I have a new thing. Let's say right now somebody's like, I want to go hard on YouTube. How do I do that? It's like, no. What that book teaches you is you need to find a who.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Every time in my career, I was always the who that the person hired, that they wanted, I want to make music. Who can help me? I was the guy. They didn't know how to record, how to mix, what equipment, blah, blah, blah. I had all the how.
Yeah.
So I tried to use that, but then I realized there's levels to it. And I think I know that now if this is a multi-million-dollar company and I can go recruit good talent, that's when who, not how applies. So now you're finding an A player that you can bring in for 6 figures and they'll figure out how it gets done. They already know how. But when you're balling on a budget and you're like, hey man, I want to do this thing, and you ask a cousin or a friend or somebody, they're not going to figure out how unless they're obsessed, and that's going to be rare to find. So like what you just said, you first have to do the work yourself to set them up for success. And so that's what I have been doing the last month and a half, solely, whatever.
Yeah.
With the podcast department. So I had a guy that was helping, just not passionate about it, but like, oh, I'm down to help. Yeah, I'll do it. But he wasn't thinking in terms of like, how can I make it easier? How can I create a system for this? It was just kind of winging it every single time. I
totally get it.
And I'm noticing, man, you're just winging it. You're just kind of, every single time it's so custom. Why is it different every time? Why are you trying to figure out what to set the light to? So fast forward, I took over a little bit over a month ago, and day one of me being the who responsible for it, because we're both great at learning and I can solve problems like a mofo. I'm sitting there episode 1 and I'm thinking, I don't have proper lenses. I should have the same lens to make this thing simple. I'm on Amazon while they're talking and I added a lens to my cart. Then there was a thing where I kept having to get up and go check the back of the cameras to make sure they were on and recording. I was like, no, I should have a station that I sit at, a producer station with a display screen, and all the cameras go here and I can sit. I'm talking to ChatGPT. They're filming the episode. How do I do this? And I was like, you need a display monitor, this.
Yeah.
I'm adding it to my cart. So by the time they got done with their first episode, I had a $2,000 Amazon order of all these pieces that I needed. Then I'm paying attention to, man, this is ridiculous. It's taking 30 minutes to an hour to set up custom every single time and then take down every time.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, no, we need a permanent spot.
A set.
So this ties into yesterday. I was on my way to the studio and I'm listening to a guy named Pat Flynn.
Of course, yeah.
And he was saying the best advice that he had ever gotten in his life, and it changed the way that he thought forever. And he said he was on a podcast with Tim Ferriss, who's the author of the 4-Hour Work Week. And Tim asked him a question that changed the way he thought. And the question was, if this were easy, what would it look like? And he was saying, Pat tend to overthink or this. And I'm like, okay, I have a history of overthinking and all that stuff. And then I like rewinded and I was like, oh, I've already been implementing this because that's literally what I did with the podcast. It was like day one of me. Oh, I'm the who responsible for this. I got a million things on my plate. How can I make this as easy as possible? If this were easy, what would it be? Okay. Permanent podcasts.
I love it. I love it.
Permanent to where I've been joking saying, because we were moving the tripods different spots. I was like, no. I'm talking, I want to get a flower pot or a concrete mix, put the tripod in there. We're never moving it ever again. Like, this is the tripod.
I love it.
And I mean, that's literally what we've done over here now is like, money is a huge unlock because that's what a lot of it was at the time in the budget, we had like one good tripod and like two old raggedy ones. And I'm like,
you're right.
We need to make some money and get uniform. And then we only had so many mic cables. And I'm like, no, we need to.
Love it.
Yeah. So we made the investment and that stuff. So
one thing I learned too, I'll add to what you're saying. I started working with someone on what's called Working Genius. Have you heard of that? Patrick Lencioni has a book. So there's different working styles, and like your Working Genius, there's 6 different areas, and you have usually 2 areas that you're a genius in, 2 areas that drain you when you work in them, and then 2 areas where you're kind of neutral. And so every project you need all 6 of the areas, and there's WIDGET. And
WIDGET.
Widget,
right.
yeah, spells widget. And actually, before I hire someone now, Julie Lunsford, which I'm gonna give her some props. I don't hire anyone without them talking to Julie. She'll give them this assessment. She'll talk to them, and then she'll call me. She'll be like, and she knows my assessment too, right? So it's different for everybody, but she knows what I am, and she'll tell me and the person, hey, when you work with John, he's an IG, right? So just so you know, like he's gonna give you direction. And he's kind of visionary. He's gonna be super excited, and he's gonna get people excited about it. But he might think he's giving you all the information, but he may not. So if you think like you don't have it, you got to go talk to him. But John's not good at these things. And so that, this is where you need to help John because this is all, you need all 6, right?
Yeah.
So that was really useful. And I just talked to Julie this morning, just hiring a new person. And so she was giving me all the info. And she's like, John, here's what your team is missing. She actually told me based on the Working Genius. Here's what your team is missing. I think you need one of these people at some point. So that's another tip, free tip for people or free game, like where think about not just what roles do I need filled, like job duties, but also what's people's genius? What's their working genius?
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm an IG. If it's, I think, I can't even remember what the I stands for, innovator, whatever, and galvanizer.
Okay.
I think. But so I can take an idea and concept and then come up with a bunch of stuff about it.
Yeah.
And then I can get people excited about doing it. That's the galvanizing. I think I might just be totally messing up. That's my view of it. But what I need is people at the end that can take it through to the tenacity, right? That can take it to the finish, that can follow the process and that can just get it done. And that's what has been really helpful to me recently is figuring that out about myself. And then also learning everybody's working genius on the team. Okay. And even before they on board, I know what it is.
So that's a new concept to me of the 6 different ones and blah, blah, and taking the test. So I'm definitely going to learn more about that. I knew enough to know that I learned this years ago was like, you don't want someone on your team that's just like you, right? Because then if they're just like you, then if you suck at this, they suck at this.
Yes, it's
and
true.
When I meet new people that are interested in joining the team that aren't aware of that type of stuff, and then they start pointing out all the things that we have in common, but they're talking about joining the team, then I'll let them know of like, that's actually not good because I was hoping I need someone that does this, and you're talking about, like, one of the things was making those systems. Like there was a guy that I was going to bring on the team, we just have to find the right role because like the role I needed was somebody that was going to be like the systems operations, like I guess the project manager would be Your project is help extract all of this stuff because I have every system in my head. But we need it documented, written down, organized somewhere.
Totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I need somebody good at that. And yeah, I'm still looking for that. So if somebody's watching this and you're like, man, that's me, you're talking
Job
to me,
opportunity.
send an email to crack@crackhouse.studios.com. For real.
Well, and what's interesting to me too, my personality, if I'm interviewing somebody, I get along with everybody. Like I like everybody. I genuinely like people. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
So what was helpful to me was I'll talk to someone, but then I'll have somebody else like a Julie, like who I mentioned, she'll be way more discerning and help me.
I love it, man.
Right? Like, so she'll be like, I don't know, or like, I got this vibe, like this is not the right person for you. And she will be more discerning because I have this need, like, come, let's hang out.
Let's do it.
Let's just hang out.
Go.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Where she's more like, all right, what's good for John? What's good for John's business? So that's another tip I think has been very helpful for me. I can be like the front door. I'll open the front door and I'll welcome someone, but there's got to be someone other than me. Because even as an entrepreneur, I might be like, we need a person. Let's just bring them in. It's like, no, I love having that stopgap and that person in between.
Yeah. Me and my wife, we learned that about maybe like a year ago. It was in one area, but then we learned it recently. It applies in another area. And so now I look at it as like, we are life partners and business partners. And so right now our board is us. Yeah, so if I have an idea or there's a new person that we're thinking about joining, I have found that I'm overly optimistic. And like how you said, you like everyone, you like talking to everyone. I think that means that you're good at seeing the gift in everyone. Right?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
And I have that same thing. And so let's say the specific thing where we first aha moment was when it comes to paying people. And I think it's because I am so ambitious. I do, Sky, let's go, let's conquer the world, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking to somebody, when I see them at their, I see where they want to go at their best, not at reality is right here, right now, this is their skill set and they're worth $18 an hour. But I'm being like, and I see it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, $75 an hour. And we can do it and let's go. Yeah. And it's just like, bro, it does not make sense. And that's why we can't hire them. That's why we've been struggling with blah, blah, blah. So she's in charge of all of the payment and stuff. And the same thing, even with investing and building the studio, there was some slow months because I'm like, let's buy the couch. Let's buy this. Let's do this right now. Let's get another lens. And then she's like, now's not a good time to do that.
That's exactly what you need. Yeah, that's right, dude.
She has great discernment. And then now with, decisions, meeting new people. I love that. Like we've really, what's helped us in our marriage and partnership the most has been like owning each other's role. And I'm fire, she's water. If I'm not owning my fire role, she needs the fire, And then the same thing when I got too much fire, it gets a little hot and I need some water to cool me off, right? So we balance that where in the beginning when we were looking up like her zodiac sign, her personality type, different compatibility things, it's like not super promising, but it's possible. It'll just take a lot of work, right? That's basically what it says. Very yin and yang. But now we see the benefit of the contrast of, so with that, how do you and your wife separate each other's like roles?
Man, so we do look at it like we're business partners. We do a lot of stuff together. She has a business that she runs.
How many years have you guys been together?
We've been married 20 years.
Awesome.
And this will be 21 this year. And then we've been together 25. I believe it's 20 or 25 years.
So she's been with you for the good, the bad,
long time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's known me for a very long time. And it's been a great relationship. My wife's amazing. But we are very different. And I think that just embracing those differences is okay.
Yeah.
But also with her, I think we kind of know when we should work together and also when we shouldn't.
That's good too.
So there's stuff where it's like, let's get on the same page. There's also stuff where I'm not gonna, like, she used to work in commercial insurance. So any insurance question, automatically, like whatever you say.
She owns that lane. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very clear to me. But if there's a contract or legal or something or tax, like I do that. That's me. Who talks to CPA? Of course I do. Right.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm the person who says to the CPA, show me the tax code or send me the regulation. Like I read it, of course.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't like that. That would just be, it would be just very like draining to her. Right. It'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. But I also think that there are some things where we realize we should not work together, and there are things that we do that is fun together. So she enjoys, we're going to go take someone out to dinner, or we'll do stuff that's social that, with clients or whatever. She likes that. We also do trips together. Well, we'll say like, let's make this a business trip and we're going to do some planning. Like that's important. We try to do it once or twice a year.
Yeah.
We go somewhere by ourselves because when you got 4 kids, you never have private moments.
Yeah.
And so we try to go somewhere once or twice a year, and we will take that time and we'll dedicate whole days or half 5-6 hours, and we'll just plan. And we come back with, here's our plans. And that's super healthy, been super healthy for us.
I want to introduce you guys to Royal Legacy Clothing. It's a clothing brand that myself and my best friend Dylan co-own. We started this about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we had a lot of different things to learn, a lot of life to experience, and we took a few years off. And then in this year, in 2022, I'm excited to announce that we're relaunching it. Now, what Royal Legacy Clothing means to me is picture the guy that comes into work just a little bit early, a little bit before everyone else, because he wants to get a step ahead. Picture the guy that when everyone else is done working, he stays late. He's the last one there because he wants more out of life. That person is who's wearing Royal Legacy. The goal is to build a legacy, so do that while wearing Royal Legacy. I'm just picturing my come up over the last 10 to 20 years, and I wish I could go back and show me wearing Royal Legacy during all of those years. I think self-awareness is key in knowing who we are, but also it's just as important, if not more important, to know who we are not. And who I am not is I'm not a loser. I'm not the guy that's never gonna amount to his full potential. And with connecting and networking and meeting a lot of different people, the people that I resonate with the most and connect to are people that all want more out of life. One life, one legacy. RoyalLegacyClothing.com. You guys can use coupon code CRACK and save 10% off at the checkout. We greatly appreciate all of your support.
Walk me through planning one, because like literally right now, I was talking to Alyssa about that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I literally want to do that. Like whether it's just go to Detroit for the weekend, but like let's go somewhere so it's not home. Let's literally go somewhere. And I always do business pleasure. Like this right now, this is business content, cameras are on, we're networking, etc.
But there's
pleasure.
Fun.
I love this shit.
It's fun. Yeah.
Right. So the same thing with like traveling and going places. She loves to eat. She loves to travel. I love to eat. I love to travel. And then I'll also bring my camera and I'm going to make some content. So there's business in there. And then I would love to plan out a rough 2026.
I love it. Yeah. We make it. So I'll tell you what we do.
Yeah.
We make an agenda. We have all of our business, personal, professional stuff. And so we plan it beforehand. So we have an agenda. We treat it like a board meeting because honestly, there's tax benefits to do this too. You can deduct a lot of this stuff for your business.
I plan on writing off the whole thing if possible.
This is what I coach people on too with some of the tax planning, right? Is like, how do you write this off, right? You can't write it all off, but you got to know what you can and can't. One of the things you got to do is show an agenda and show meeting minutes.
So let's get as tactical as possible.
Yeah. Like, what do I do?
Making the agenda itself.
We make the agenda. So we literally list every business that we own, which we have several, right? I have a law practice. We got investments. She has her business. I got a writing business. There's other stuff too. So we have a lot going on, right? And then we literally will list the items to discuss, all the issues right under each separate business.
So like business name and then list out, let's talk about
issue,
this
like
and this
things
and
we
this
gotta
and
talk
this.
about.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And then, so we'll create an agenda. And right now we kind of, just to get super tactical, we work from past agendas because we got it created.
Yeah.
And then we just each update it before we go. And then what we'll do is while we're talking, what we used to do is somebody would take notes. Now we literally record it. And then we do an AI like summary.
Yeah.
And then we pull those action items from that recording. And then it's like a copy and paste.
What do you use to record, if you don't mind me asking?
No, we've used a couple of things. One, we did Zoom recording. Other times just on like the voice app on your phone. It will transcribe it automatically on the Apple iPhone.
Oh, okay. So just maybe like
just literally record.
Set it there and hit record and then.
Yep. And so we'll have a conversation and we'll space out the conversations. There's tax reasons too. You got to do like half a day if it's during the day on a weekday. Like you want to have at least 4 plus hours so you can deduct like your lodging. This is free tax tips for people, but you can deduct your lodging for that day and travel expenses if you have at least a day of the day is primarily business. So that's what we try to do. And we'll time it and set the time, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's how we do it. And we create the meeting minutes. We have it. And our accountant knows like we keep the meeting minutes, right? Because it's truly, there's a business purpose. The benefit to us is because we have kids, it's honestly tough.
No, I believe you.
To do this planning outside or in the normal day to day. There's just no way. Like it's by the time all our kids go to bed, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. What are you gonna
now
do?
Your cups are both empty.
Yeah, you're just tired, man. And during the week, you're just running. And then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock, you're supposed to make a smart decision. It's like, no, that doesn't work.
There's a question that I just remember that I wanted to ask earlier when you were talking about, because do you charge and offer a service to diagnose people? As in, you know how you're saying the advice is only like what to actually help somebody, what they need is sit down, full attention, let me listen to you, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, or hour and a half, whatever you found. And you just ask the questions like you're gathering.
That's my whole law practice.
Okay. So that's a service then, correct? Yeah. Because that's where I'm at right now. Where I'm at is I'm sharing lots of content. We talked about this before, like monetizing your content, you know? And it's like, yes, we're monetizing it. And I've done that, but not like, I have a lot of content now where I just learned some new things and, I'm going to film some content. All right, cool. I just learned this. Here, I'm going to share this with the camera. So I'm broadcasting a certain level of intelligence on certain topics that I'm doing, and I'm getting people, man, I need your help with this. I need to pick your brain. I need to sit down with you, this. And so I've offered these like 1 hour consultations and things like that. But
how's it gone? How's it worked?
What I've learned is majority of people don't wake up and think, I need to get a consultation with somebody today. That's what I've noticed, where in the past, I've always consulted and coached, but it was within the container and package that people were already looking for when it came to me.
Yeah, it was included as a piggyback of something else.
Exactly. Like somebody would book me for a music video. And yes, I would always give them a music video, but they would love just being around me and learning and the strategy.
It's very similar to me. Yeah, very similar. So
now what I need help with is creating my thing that there's a guy, I think his name is David Billingsley, and what he's big on is sell the diagnosis. And he said most people, because he's talking about like the best lead magnets and stuff, and he owns a company that offers these like quiz. So instead of just like get the ebook or get the thing or get the PDF,
take the survey or take the quiz.
Take the quiz to find out blah blah blah. And then he's big on like selling the diagnosis, and I'm like, man, so
I love that. I actually have thought about this. This is something I want to roll out. Is I'll do a brand audit, legal brand audit. So I've done it dozens of times. I would say it's one of the things I'm really, really good at. From, you know how I said every business is a media and entertainment company, whether they think you are or not. So what I could do is I'll look at your IP. I'd do yours right now if you wanted, and I'll look at it and I'll help you think through what you should protect legally, and maybe what's not the strongest, and like where are some gaps. I do that all the time, and I would say that's one of the things I'm very, very good at, is telling people what to protect. And if you tell me your budget, doesn't even matter what it is. If it's 0, I'll tell you what to protect. I'll tell you what to do. If it's unlimited, I'll tell you what to do. So that's what I do for a lot of clients. One of my specialties is looking at IP and figuring out what's the best way to protect it. That kind of brand audit.
And we have such similar brains, because that's my zone of genius, but in a different area.
Yeah.
How I was saying, I've learned that people don't wake up and think I need a consultation today or I need a diagnosis on this today. They also hate the word budget. I think even when you said budget to me, like if somebody said, what's your budget? It's like, come on, you already know. I want the best thing possible for the cheapest price
Yeah,
possible.
for
Like,
sure.
like that's what I want. But same like these flyers right here for like marketing packages. What I'm best at is if somebody just, let's say they're like, I want to grow my business on social media. Okay, cool. Friend to friend, like, what is a realistic budget? No, well, you know, I mean, some months it's just like, no, let's assume that it's one of your bad months and it's not going to put you out of business. If it's $500, for example, I'm best at knowing a number and being creative
For
to
sure.
figure out
Totally
like,
get it,
okay,
yeah.
if I had $500 a month,
What would I do?
what would I do with it exactly? Like that's where my zone of genius is.
What if someone came to you and said $500? What would you say? I got $500 for marketing.
Okay. I would say they're going to have to make the content themselves
Okay.
because it wouldn't be a big enough budget to get help with making the
for
content,
anybody, yeah.
right?
So yeah, okay.
So I'd be like, okay, you're going to make the content yourself, and then to reach the
What
most
kind of
amount of
content?
people,
What kind of content?
it'd be social media.
Like
it'd
video
be
or photo?
It'd be video for
Okay.
sure. So,
So use your phone or something?
yep, use your phone, fall in on a budget, and then I would put all of the money into, in my world, it'd be Facebook and Instagram ads. So it'd be like, make a piece of content that is an ad. Because
You're saying not just native. You're saying make something that you would then boost, make it an ad.
exactly. So
Boost a post or make an actual
make
ad
an actual ad
with a call to action.
with a call to action. So in a perfect world, you're going to have,
So 500 is your ad spend?
yeah. I would put it all towards ad spend if that's what their budget is. So in a perfect world, there would be content coming out that's just like, this is branding content. This is just a piece of this. Here's a tip here.
So when someone
We're not
searches you,
selling
you find
hard.
something.
Here's documenting your process. Here's some testimonial stuff. Here's some behind the scenes of you doing what you do. Here's you giving some free game. Here's like all of that would be in there. And there would still be an ad video that says, hey, if you're in the market for this, this, and this, here's things to look out for. And if you need help with that, my name is blah, blah, blah. I've been in business for X amount of years. We offer this. And for a limited time, we have this new offer right now. And if you are interested, do this right now.
Yeah. Love
So in a perfect world, I would help people do all of that. So let's say that was like 12 pieces of content in a month for something, at least 6 or so, whatever. If I could help somebody with one video, I'm not going to do all of the other stuff yet. I'm going to be like, okay, you're more in survival mode, where the one video I'm going to have you do is that, hey, if you're in the market for this,
The ad.
it's here's the ad, here's my offer, and give me a call or click this link or go do this thing. And then for the money, it'd be, we're going to put all of the money behind this.
whatever. It's $15 a day or something.
Yep. That would be exactly what I would do.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's good advice. I wonder, dude, okay, let's apply it to me now. Let's turn the tables.
Yeah.
Lawyer, law firm. Would you say that same thing to me? Like just create an ad?
I would say, what's your get people in the door thing? Because
Yeah. Right now it's mainly like referrals, truly, and current existing clients.
well, like, okay, what's an example of like a dream outcome of when you get a customer, for example, that you represent? Is it a retainer thing that's a long term, or like what
Ideally,
would be
we're working with clients over time regularly, but
for 12 plus months or for 6 months or for 2 years, or like
I would say 10 years would be great if they're a good client and we can provide value to them.
Yeah.
This is an interesting discussion because I think about this stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
However, there are things that bring people in the door. Like I have some specialties that not many other attorneys have, like the blend of business and intellectual property, right? And I'm adding a tax piece too. We'll do high-end tax planning, like very high-end. I just got certified in it. And so if people never want to pay tax again, legally, ethically, morally, then I'll have a great solution for them. So
Well, let's go stay with that one then.
Yeah.
All right. So it would be a piece of content that would, the hook is the most important part. So that's like what gets their attention. So when it comes to that, if that's the offer
for
that
the
we're
video,
going
you
to
mean
roll
so?
with, yeah, it would be something about, do you own a business and you hate paying taxes? There's guys like, Donald Trump, and you hear he doesn't pay tax, or this guy,
For
they don't
sure.
pay tax. What are they doing? They must know something that we don't know. Well, the answer is they do. And if you need help doing this, there's this. So now you're getting their attention with the thing.
yeah,
How can you
And then
be in
just, you
business
think,
and
so
not-
then get them an ad. And then would you say, get them on an email list or try to book a call, or
it
what would you say?
What have you found is typically the first step? Is there this free discovery call, or is it this paid diagnosis
I would
thing?
do
or?
a free discovery call, but I think with my experience with these kind of people that really, they already have advisors. And so the best people are where I'm already a trusted advisor to them. And because I do a lot of business and tax work and give that kind of advice, they're approaching me. So I do something else for them. And then I say, bring up the tax planning because I'm already trusted. That's the best case.
Okay, so I'd say that it seems like the tax thing is like level 2 then.
I would agree.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the thing that brings people in the door. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm actually learning. And I'm learning by doing, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
I'm collecting data. One of the things I love, I gave a talk called The Marketing Lifestyle.
You have good titles for your talk.
Dude, I love headlines. I've studied headlines.
Well, do you film your talks, and like, is there a YouTube channel?
I need to in the future.
Yeah.
That talk I gave, every company is a media and entertainment company. I literally got a phone mount, and I just bought a mic, a wireless mic set, those DJI, whatever.
Good for you.
And
That's a good brand.
I'm just going to take them everywhere. And I bought a camera. I'm going to just take with me. I got my phone so I can have 2 cameras, and I'm just going to just start creating stuff, dude. And I'm going to start posting. And then I am going to do like a monthly or weekly live Q&A, because I think that would be 1, fun, but 2, educational. But yeah, like just going back to this point, marketing lifestyle, one of my principles in marketing lifestyle is no one knows anything without data, but good data.
Yeah.
You can't make decisions based on this is what I think people will like. Because what I notice is you're almost always wrong.
Yeah.
You are looking at things through your lens, what you like, but you are not the audience. You are not your client.
Yeah.
Or you're not your ideal customer. And whenever I think, I know what people want, I have to just say, like, pump the brakes. Let's go ask 10 people.
Yeah.
Let's go ask 100 people. When I figured out with Facebook ads that I could go test at scale, like I could go get 2,000 impressions in like 48 hours, and I would get actual numbers, blew my mind. I was like, no one knows anything without good data is just so, it's the truth, bro. It is the truth. You think you know what's good. I was testing ads for my children's books, and I had my favorite ads. And guess what? None of them were the highest click through. None.
Yep.
So now it's like an ad I think looks stupid is what I use, because I'm like, I don't care. This tested the best.
I just learned that 3 weeks ago with the workshop. So I did have some wisdom that I applied, because I knew from past with the data that I was going to kind of like macro vision, touch on everything and tell my story, but leave majority of the time for the interactive stuff. So I did well with that. But I wanted to make a content creation course on just, because I thought of it. The first course I ever made was music videos, because the most views I've ever gotten on any of my content on the internet has been me teaching the music video stuff. And that's where I have like most of the content out there and tutorials. So it made sense for me to monetize the content first, would be like, yo, this is the biggest audience right now.
Yeah.
So let's start
probably
with
a lot of your
videos.
Followers already too,
Yeah.
right?
So I started there, but then I kept thinking to myself, like, man, I know a lot of people from different places, and it'd be cool one day to like come out with a thing. So let's say it's a course, a program, a new thing that I'm pushing, and then reach out to all the people in my network and go on like a press run and like get on this guy's show and tell my story, and this guy's show and this guy's show. This is basically what people do when they drop a book or
Press
a movie
tour.
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Now it's podcast tour.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so, but then I thought to myself, I'm like, if I were to tell my story to somebody and they're like, man, this guy's cool. I want to learn. I want to be like him. And the thing that I have is this music video course. I'm like, no, music video course wouldn't help them live my life. The thing that's changed my life is creating content.
Yeah.
So I've
zoom out a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. So I've been wanting to make that, but I haven't figured out where to attack it. And then I've learned now that I'm too premature with attacking it, and I need to do more. I need more data, and I need more in person, and I need more workshops, and I need more
Get the
live
experience. Go teach 10 people.
Exact.
And figure out what works.
So with the workshop right now, it's like 20 to 30 people at a time.
Awesome.
But like, these are the people that are paying to buy a ticket to show up right now. So these would be the warm leads that I have that would be interested in buying my program. So I had a friend that has been coming up from Indianapolis that was trying to help me come out with this coaching course program that he wanted to like be heavy on the sales and reach out to people in my audience and tell them about the thing. And where I landed with him was, bro, I just need more data. I need to get in the room with these people because right now I'm phenomenal on a one-to-one, but I've never exposed myself to a situation where I have a room of 20 to 30 people and how can I help all of them? What would that approach be? So I said, we're just going to hit pause on it. We're going to focus on this workshop and let me see who shows up. And from that showed me I would have completely missed. It was way, way, way more beginner versus where I'm thinking of like the content flywheel and how to
Yeah, I totally get it.
Crazy equipment and stuff. And
That's
it's like,
the
no.
data. That's
People
the
are
data.
looking for clarity and direction on how do I get started.
Yeah.
And then there was maybe like 5 to 10% of the people that were one of the things I did on the whiteboard. I like kind of full out nerded, and the co-host, her name was Amber. She gave me the look and tried to intervene like 3 times on, she seen where I was going to go with it. And I think she like read the room a lot better than me.
So she cut you off?
And she was like, but hey, not everyone has to worry about these sales funnels and running paid ads. And because I'm talking about lookalike audiences and stuff.
That's great.
But it was like, I felt too compelled and too excited to share.
That data is so important, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this story. I was maybe a first or second year attorney, and this was like 2013, 2014. Okay. And I was pushing, let's do video. Like I ran a media department before I went to law school. I was doing audio and video. I was using Pro Tools. And then when I hired people, they were using Pro Tools for me. And when I went to film school, I learned to cut actual film. That was the last year that they did film. The next year, everyone had the Canon GL2s or whatever, and like taking out around these Canon
memory cards and stuff.
Is
that when memory cards came out, or you said film?
It was the mini DV tapes and stuff like that. So I never learned how to cut actual video on like a non-linear editor. I learned how to cut on a giant Steenbeck machine with razor blades cutting actual film. So I got to work early. I went to Flint, Michigan. I would get there at like 6:30, 7:30 in the morning. And an hour before work, I would sit and teach myself Final Cut Pro because I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And so I'd come from that background, and I was a brand new lawyer, and I was like, we should do video. Like we should absolutely do video. Like, I think this is it. So we had this meeting, and it was some older attorneys and some I was the younger attorney, but I was older because I worked for 10 years after college and then went back to school. So I was a little bit older, but I was like young in terms of number of years as an attorney.
Gotcha.
So we're talking about video, and everyone's like, well, people have short attention spans. Videos can't be longer than 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, maybe. And I was just like, really? Are you sure? They're like, oh yeah, I don't watch a video longer than I just get bored. And this is why I say no one knows anything without good data. And when I have a slide, usually when I give this presentation, and I say, no one knows anything without data. And then I click the button and then good appears in front of it. Yeah. Because there's good data and there's not good data. Okay. And I just remember listening to this attorney. She was older. She said, yeah, I won't watch a video longer than 3 minutes. And I'm just like, is this good data in my head? I'm like, are we sure about this? Because here's what I was thinking. I don't know about you, but I just binged watched an entire season of a show on Netflix this weekend. It was 20 hours straight. So you're telling me you won't watch a video longer than 3 minutes? I watched for 20 hours, and I would have watched for 50 if I could.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. I didn't want to stop. So what I thought was, I think what she's missing is people won't watch bad content.
Yeah.
But if it's good content, people will go forever. They will watch it forever.
Yeah.
That's what I learned was like, and I tested it too. And like, look at a lot of podcasts now, what the trend was short, 5 minute, 7 minute videos. But then look at long form. Look how long form has exploded. Why? Because it wasn't because they were just like people just want something to watch. No, it was engaging. It was entertaining. It was educational all in one. But go look at the data. It's out there. right? Now, a lot of people do it. So it's changing a little bit, but go get that data. That was an example to me where very smart people think we know everything. Smart people think they know everything. You rarely meet someone that's smart that says, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Let me go get the data. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
To be smart, you got to go look at the data and not trust your mind, because your mind lies to you.
Yeah.
It just does.
Going forward now, like, what are you most excited about, let's say this year, the next couple of years? Like, what projects do you have coming up that
love it?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I love my podcast. I mean, I love it.
What's the name of your podcast?
The Intense Life with John Mashni.
For somebody that's never tuned in before, how would you invite them?
What is it? I would say it's me talking to the coolest people I know and having great conversations.
Oh, that's Free Game with Crack.
Dude, it covers everything I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So some of it's business, some of it's entrepreneurs. So I literally recorded a podcast on my favorite movie.
Okay.
And one of my best friends in the world, it's an Indian movie. It's called RRR. It's coming out. I think it's coming out in the next week. Actually, we got to talk to Rachel. She's working on it. But
shout out to Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel's rocks. Yeah. Phenomenal. So thanks, Rachel. But it's my favorite movie. I literally tell everyone to watch this movie. It's called RRR. It's Indian. My buddy's Indian. And I said, hey, I saw the little clip on Netflix. You know, Netflix shows you like you
coming soon maybe, or
it's what?
Oh, my bad.
Well, no, it's just on Netflix, you see like a little preview of the movie when your cursor goes over it. It was recommended to me. And my Netflix recommendations are insane because all my kids use my account. So I got like cartoons and then crazy stuff I watch, Indian movies, and it's all over. So I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And I see this clip of this Indian guy, hairy dude wearing like a diaper in the middle of a jungle. And I'm just like, what is this? And I see him pour this red stuff on his head, and they're playing these cool drums. And you figure out, is that blood he's pouring on his head?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he starts running, like just sprinting in the middle of this jungle. I'm like gripped. I'm like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden this wolf starts chasing him. And you're like, dude, the wolf is chasing this guy. Then all of a sudden you just look around and a tiger is in the grass, and a tiger jumps out of nowhere and starts chasing the wolf that's chasing the guy. And I'm just like, what is this show? And Netflix is like, recommended for you. And so I text one of my Indian friends, Alpesh, do you hear this movie RRR? It's Indian. It's like, he literally says, don't watch it. It's just a Bollywood, you wouldn't like it. And I was actually disappointed. I was like, I feel like I would like this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, non-Indian guy talking to Indian guy, and he's like shooting me down. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, then next day or next week or something, friend of mine, white guy, is like, I just saw this movie RR was the greatest 3 hours of my life. Like, it was the best thing I've seen in a long time. And I was like, really? So I started, and I could not stop watching it. And I can't stop talking about it to this day. So we did a whole podcast. Instead of me, I probably told 1,000 people to watch this movie. But I'm now all my friends and family, wife, kids are tired of hearing about it. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to record a podcast. And then when someone says, what's your favorite movie? I'm going to send you the podcast.
Yeah.
And we did a non-spoiler version, and then we're going to record a spoiler version soon because it's so fun. It's just the most fun movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So it covers the stuff I think that's cool. We just did a podcast talking about business stuff, talking about EOS, talking about that book, So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. Me and my friend Mike Maddox did a whole podcast on that.
What does he do? That name
He's
sounds
an EOS
familiar.
implementer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he used to run an IT company. But, I'm just trying to have cool conversations with people and fun, entertaining, interesting. I just saw a draft, the draft edit of one recently with 2 filmmaker friends, and I was laughing the whole time. Me, I was like, I was there, but I was like, this is hilarious. We are having so much fun.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff. And the name The Intense Life comes from a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave 100 years ago, 100 plus years ago, called The Strenuous Life. And he was talking about the life of ease is not the one that gives you peace. That is not the one that's good for you.
Yeah.
It's that strenuous life. And so I just made it my own, and I said, it's the intense life.
Love it. So the podcast is a big focus for the year.
Super pumped about the podcast.
What else?
I'm going back to the children's books. I got 4 books written that are not illustrated. So I got 4 out.
Okay.
So 4 more.
coming soon.
Four that are written that I'm working on.
Okay.
And so I got to get them edited, and then I got to find an illustrator. I have 4 that are already out, so I'm working on that.
Maybe like what, promoting them more, or?
Yeah, just I started a Shopify store, and now I'm running ads and
Good
just
for you.
talking about the books. So the children's books are super fun. I'm building a law firm, Rendios. It's been fantastic, and adding new services. I'm trying to just think, well, what would the ideal client want? How would I want a lawyer to talk to me about my stuff? And that's how I'm thinking about what would I want. And that's been beautiful to think about that. Like, hey, how would I want my stuff to be run? Like, that's how I'm going to do stuff. It's cool. Very cool.
There's free game alert for me right now, because I was saying I'm trying to figure out what my new coaching consulting world offer is going to be. I want to push, and how to go way back to when we were talking about like running ads, I want to push, and I think where you spend all the marketing money, the main thing you want people to do, it's really hard to sell step 3. Let's say step 3 is this $5,000, $10,000, $1,000, multi-$1,000 thing. It's hard to run ads and sell that thing. So it's smarter to sell this initial 30-minute or 60-minute or 90-minute thing. But I like the way that you said, thinking of it as what would I want? And now based on that, because I have been interested and I paid for coaching with different people, and I'm thinking, okay, a lot of the people that are in my world, they're looking for direction and strategy. What would I actually want as a first-time one-off thing, introduction to this guy that does have, here's my level 1, offer is right here, and it's not in the $1,000. It's like going to be this sub $500 thing, but this is like, I'll help you right here, right now, put out this fire.
Love it.
Sweet. Okay, you provided me with value. I want this thing to be the thing that's like, here's based on everything that you just told about, like the diagnosis thing. That's what I want. I want to.
You want someone to
fine tune.
You would want someone to come in and ask you a bunch of questions, figure out what you need,
get all of the
and then
context.
say, here's the prescription. And what I also think too, people don't want your services; they want the outcome of your services.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? That's how I'm thinking. Like, people don't want a trademark registration.
Right.
I can help them get a trademark. But what they want is the outcome is my brand is protected. And if someone else is using something similar, they can stop them.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't want a trademark application. Nobody does. That costs money.
Yeah. No one woke up today and said, oh, gosh,
they want the outcome.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, yeah, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
But then where I think is, what are the pieces that are missing?
Yeah.
Like, I think I would want someone to be monitoring stuff for me.
Yeah.
And checking.
Yeah.
And like, well, I could sell that. Of course. Why don't I? Because I didn't grow up that way. No one taught me that. But I'm thinking as the business owner, I'm thinking as the creative person. Would I want that? Yes. So we're going to start offering that.
Awesome.
Like, that's going to be, so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about this film company that I work with, CDI. So I got the new movie coming out probably this fall, the Kingdom Chip. So I'm excited about that. And helping CDI out with new stuff they're doing. I'm excited about, this is the first January that I've woke up kind of metaphorically and said, I'm in charge. I can create what I want to create. That's so exciting to me. And all this other stuff is just, man, nobody's telling me you got to build this much, you got to work this much, you got to do this. I'm like, I'm going to be creative. We're going to do cool stuff. We're going to serve people for sure. We're going to be there. As a lawyer, I'm invited into very tough situations.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What do you think was either the limiting belief or the thing getting in your way or the thing that made you feel like in a way that you needed permission that you got over this month?
This is the first year where I was on my own. I had a partner before. I worked at big firms. And this is the first year where it's kind of all on my shoulders. And that is simultaneously scary and exciting. And what I learned is it's fear and faith. If I operate in fear, you look at your bank account and you say, uh-oh, I got all these bills and I only can last for this long. The other side of that is, oh man, look at this pipeline I got. Look at this accounts receivable I got. Look at the potential. Look what I can do. Like, that's where you got to have faith.
Yeah.
That's faith. And when you're living in faith, you don't have the fear. You're excited. You're moving forward, right? And you do it day by day. Every day you have faith. And it's like, to me, it's like, I'm trying to live in that faith. And one of my mentors is a guy named Joe Caruso. And he says it like this: be undeniable. You got to do so much and work where you're not going to be denied. And there's an article I wrote, which I would encourage people to read. It's called "Now is the Time to Be Unreasonable."
Every title, I promise you. I'm not a yes man. I'm not a hype you up everything you say.
You love my titles.
If you said a title that wasn't good, I wouldn't have said, P.S. I don't like that. I just would have kept it moving. But it was like, here's another one, man.
Dude, I have
So
studied.
you'll be good on YouTube.
I have studied titles and headlines.
You're really
Actually,
good at packaging.
This week I gave Rachel, shout out to Rachel again, a list of my headline tips. So I have a cheat sheet, how to title stuff. So, and actually I took a course, you mentioned Ben Hardy earlier. I took a course by Ben Hardy directly and a guy named Richie Norton, who's both the heroes of mine. Richie is amazing. Not as many people know about Richie as Ben Hardy. In fact, remind me, next time I see you, I'll bring you a book.
By the Richie?
By Richie. Oh,
okay.
Anti-Time Management. Phenomenal.
Sounds
Phenomenal
up my league for sure.
But I took a course by them and they spent almost a whole class talking about how to title stuff and headlines. Because the headline hooks you to read the article.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from Ben Hardy and Richie Norton, how to write headlines. It's great stuff, copywriting, stuff like that. But I was talking about, by the way, titles. Can I tell you one of my favorite book titles that's written? So I wrote a book called Santa Toot.
Santa Toot?
Yeah, sorry, we're going crude a little bit. But
okay.
My first book is Cinder Toot, which is Cinderella goes to the ball. Did you know this, by the way?
No.
Gosh, maybe you wouldn't even have invited me on your podcast. But Cinderella, clock strikes midnight. She runs down the steps, leaves the ball because, she's like her fairy godmother, her spell only works until midnight.
Yeah.
So she loses her slipper. But in the real story, the not as good version as mine, she loses her slipper, right?
Yeah.
My version, she picks up her slipper, but she toots. So
Okay.
all the prince has is the smell of her toot to find his true love, not the slipper.
So he's like sniffing like a dog.
He has to go around the kingdom asking all the maidens to pass gas to find the smell of his true love. The Cinder Toot. That was my first book.
Awesome.
So Santa Toot was my second book. Santa gets stuck in the chimney and the only way he can get out is to toot his way out.
Okay. Like literally gas power.
Yep.
Get out.
I mean, my kids loved it. So the sequel to Santa Toot, though, is called Santa the Plumber, which I love that title so much. I'm just attached to that title. So I get attached to stuff. But what I would say, though, that article, now is the time to be unreasonable, is all about finding deep down who you are and what you're supposed to be and making a promise to yourself today that goes to your future self. Like the way I thought of it was you put a promise in a bottle, you write it down, you put it in the bottle and you throw it out, hoping that future you is going to pick that up and be like, man, I'm glad I made that promise. And that to me is, man, that you talked about when do you get permission versus, I think that's what it was, is I just had this realization. Now is the time to be unreasonable.
I love it. Yeah. I asked about the permission thing too, because what I noticed at the workshop, that was the common theme with everyone. It seemed that everyone, for whatever reason, was waiting for permission to
from somebody, right?
From somebody to just broadcast who they are and what they do, or put themselves out there, or give it everything you have. And yeah, just talking to a lot of people, it was, no one had a specific it's this, because I would just try to figure out what is the why. I've always wanted to do it, and I've always something, and I did for a little bit, and it was working pretty good and something, but I don't know, and maybe people aren't gonna. So that was just kind of like the zoomed out macro thing in common with everyone, was just like waiting for permission. And so my mantra for 2026 is stop suppressing. Just stop suppressing. Just full send it. Put it out there.
Get data. I'm going to add to that. I think that's beautiful. The thing that sometimes people miss that I see, and myself included, is you just start doing stuff because you're like, hey, I'm good. I don't need permission. I'm just going to try a bunch of stuff. But you also got to reflect. Yeah. You also got to say what's working, what's not working. And that's where it's like, get the data. Look and see what's resonating with people. And ask, don't just like look at likes or comments, but like ask people what's resonating. Because you could have one comment, but it resonates with your person.
Yeah.
So it's like also, don't like, there's a point where you got to push through that barrier of like inhibition, like, oh, I'm afraid or I'm self-conscious, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also the point where you got to be like, what's actually working? True. And I'm doing that too. I don't know what's going to work. Like I recorded a video today. Can I tell this, or do you have time?
Yeah.
So I got the best email. It was funniest email. I was booking someone on a podcast.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to do a Bowfinger podcast. You heard the movie Bowfinger?
Definitely heard of it.
With Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I was just say Eddie Murphy, isn't he a nerd or something?
Yes.
Okay.
He plays two characters. And why? Why am I going to do it? I love the movie. And I thought, well, I'm going to find someone else who loves Bowfinger as much as me. And we're going to talk about lessons from Bowfinger, storytelling. And I have a great friend and client who loves Bowfinger. And I caught up with her and I was like, we should do a Bowfinger contest or a podcast. And so I said, Rachel, let's please book Lynn on the podcast. And so then in the subject line, I was putting movie quotes. So it was just me just being silly. And there's a great scene where Eddie Murphy runs across the highway and then Steve Martin says at the end, the stunt drivers were really impressed. If you've seen the movie, it's funny. If you haven't seen it, it's, you don't get it.
Okay.
But then Lynn emails me back and I start saying, what should we call it? And I just start putting movie quotes. Then Lynn sends me this like 5-page outline of the talk of all the life lessons from the movie Bowfinger. I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking it was hysterical. And I just was like, I'm gonna create some content from this. So I hit record on my camera, just on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm about to start talking, but I can't get any words out. So I just am laughing and giggling and I'm recording and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like talk to the camera and say something cool for people. And it's just me laughing. And so then I'm like, okay, I got to stop recording. And then I go to delete it and I'm like, wait, I just was like, let me just watch it. And it's hysterical.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm totally going to post me laughing with some description of what I'm laughing about.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to work, but it was so funny. And I was watching it cracking up. So that's something I'm just going to test as an example. Now, is it going to be stupid? Is it not? People not? I don't know. But it's me trying stuff. That's all.
One filter for posting that I believe in and would give people, and it would green light that post for you. It's if you watch it and you ask yourself, this would be the filter, is, does this make me feel anything? And you say, I couldn't stop laughing, Bob. It made you feel something. Post it. Somebody else out there will feel it.
Tomorrow morning. Let's go.
Yes, there it is. Specifics.
That's great. So you look for that emotion.
Yeah, because even like I'm excited to get to this in the future. So like with a podcast, this would be my goal would be right when we get done, somebody is putting together the full episode, and then somebody else would make, let's say it was like at least 5, but like 10 moments that they felt. It's like, here's 10 moments to choose from. Yeah. And I'm going to use the filter of like, did I feel anything from this? It's like, I was just saying this. I didn't finish my point. It didn't really feel anything. Like, I'm not going to post that. Or like, maybe you said a joke and it was funny. Then I'm like, oh, no, this was a good part. Yeah, I did feel something from this. So using that as the filter.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. Where can people find you online?
So johnmashni.com, johnmashni.com. They can go to the johnmashni.com/free-stuff.
Yeah.
Get some of my free stuff that I give away to people. And on LinkedIn, Instagram, John Mashni, YouTube. If you just Google or search John Mashni, you'll find my podcast. Podcast is everywhere too, Spotify and everywhere else. And law firm rendios.com, rendios.com.
Love it. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Free Game of Crack podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please do me a favor and subscribe. If you're tuned in on Spotify, please give it a 5-star review. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, John, for being on the podcast.
Thanks, man. Fun.
Awesome.